welcome back to 5 Minutes with Dr. A, the series where we break down various aspects of dentistry into sizable chunks and makes it a lot easier to understand and take on board. So today we're going to be going into one of my favourite topics and probably the Americans' favourite topic, which is dental veneers. There are so many different types of veneers that have developed over the years in dentistry that we've used, that we've seen. Most people don't really know the differences between a lot of them. So I'm going to try and break down some of that difference slightly, but also go into what they are, when they would be used, and also start to talk about some of their longevity and a lot of the misconceptions that are normally associated with them. Veneers have been in dentistry for a very, very long time. We're talking well over 30, 40, 50 years. And in essence, they are porcelain, thin, fingernail-like structures that are created outside the dental surgery, outside the mouth, by technicians that allow us to be able to place them on top of the teeth and to be glued on so that they mimic the new shape, new colour and new size of the tooth and reset that completely. The advantage of why they've been used over the years is because they're a really good quick fix. They allow you to be able to make big wholesale changes in a very short amount of time, whereas the more modern ways that we're doing nowadays in terms of moving teeth just take a lot longer to be able to do. So this is a very quick short-term fix. It's a very popular celebrity treatment. It started off many years ago being a lot thicker. It meant that to get the right strengths that we needed to remove or reduce the size of teeth into traditionally what everyone calls pegs, so that we can create the actual structure of the veneer to fit over the top of it. As technology has improved and increased over time, we've now been able to make them thinner and thinner. And the traditional porcelain laminate veneers nowadays can be as thin as 0.5 or 0.7 millimeters to be able to still get the maximum strength if they're stuck on, bonded well with the tooth structure. We've also moved on to the more aesthetic ones. So a lot of the ones that are now being used are called Emax veneers, which are made of lithium disilicate, which is a new type of material that's been around for nearly 10 years and plus. And it's allowed us to be able to get a lot more aesthetic control over them, to be able to control the various aspects we've spoken about, but get a lot more of nature programmed into them so that we can look at the veneers or look at the teeth and think they look as natural as possible, rather than relying on the fakeness of or the look of those big blocky square white veneers. Now, some people still like that look, and there's obviously a lot of celebrities out there that still go for that look time and time again, and that's absolutely fine. But the challenge is actually getting things to look as natural as possible, and that's the difference between veneers that have been made and planned really well and really nicely at the very beginning and being able to blend them in, and veneers that haven't and are being made traditionally in a one-stop shop that allows you to make them all look very, very similar and exactly the same. Very similar is things that have been done abroad. So there's a lot of veneers that get done abroad which are blocky, and they are all made in a very similar way, and hence the reason why they're cheaper. The ones that are made to fit or made specifically for you are definitely taking a lot more time in terms of preparation, in terms of actually designing them to fit around your face, your smile, and your entire aesthetic zone. And that's a bit more challenging. And there's many, many clinicians all over the world that are absolute experts in their field at doing them and getting them to that sort of level as well. So the way the veneers are manufactured can be done either by hand or it can be done by machine milled nowadays, because technology has allowed us to be able to consider and control a lot of those factors, and that will depend on the type of technician that's working with them and how they prefer to do that and how they prefer to add all the little tiny bits that make them so individualized. When would we use veneers? Veneers are used classically on any case that we've got a lot of destructive work that's been done on there, or replacements, or things where we've got some really, really heavy staining on teeth that's completely internalized. A classic one like that is tetracycline staining, which is all the way through the teeth and naturally in the tooth and the dentine and the enamel, or ones where we've worn down the teeth significantly over time, and the only option we have is either building them up with bonding, which is quite a short-term measure, or going down the route of veneers, because we're going to be building up on them anyway. So in all of those cases, we're not having to reduce a huge amount of tooth to be able to create the space that we need. The cases that we don't like using veneers on are orthodontic cases. So cases where the teeth are not in the right places. Because to match and get the teeth in the right places, you can only do that in one of two ways. Either making the veneers much thicker, so that some of them are a lot thicker than others so that they both end in the same place, or reducing a significant amount of the natural tooth that's there to try and get it to match in with the others, when actually a tiny bit of orthodontic movement would have minimized all that damage completely. The cost of veneers will vary depending on the type of dentist that's doing them, how much experience they've got, and the types of laboratories they're using, and the patient's expectation levels. So it can be anything from $350 all the way to £2,000 anywhere across the world or the country. So with us, or my veneers are normally in the $725 to $850 region, depending on the type of veneers that we're doing and how many we're doing, how tricky they're going to be, and that's normally discussed at the planning process and stages. If you've got any other follow-up questions about anything that we've discussed today, if you or anyone you know has any photos and they want to consider veneers as an option and they want an opinion from me, please do send me them. Send me a message. Send me whatever photos you want to for an opinion. I'll be more than happy to discuss it and talk about potential options for various different things. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. The links are below, and look forward to following you on future episodes again. Take care.